Remember this famous jingle from Doordarshan, which talked about sparrows, a bird you must have seen and heard quite commonly in your childhood. But sadly, the tiny bird is now battling for survival. Having witnessed a sharp decline in most of the Indian cities, the decline of the house sparrow has been noticed both by experts as well as by the public. Although it is among the most widely seen and recognized birds in the world, its numbers in many places have dropped sharply in the last few decades. House sparrow is a compact bird with different shades of brown and a black bib in males, which becomes prominent during breeding season. House sparrow evolved with us and has always lived near human dwellings. A bird stays away from the forest and never builds the nest on trees. Rather, it looks for crevices and holes in and around our houses to nest and breed. We never realized the bird's presence as it was too common. In fact, the bird used to sleep and nest inside our open houses till the late 20th century. Our mothers used to try and somehow discover the way to stop the birds entering the house. But soon this changed, and now their absence from our lives is definitely a concern. Modern architecture with high-rise buildings has caused the bird to lose its historical proximity with humans. Increased use of pesticides, radiation from mobile towers, and absence of kitchen gardens from the houses are the main factors responsible for the recent decline in house sparrows population. With declining natural habitat, the sparrows needed an alternate breeding place and food to sustain, otherwise extinction was imminent, as it was witnessed in Great Britain. Absence of breeding space and food scarcity were two major controllable factors that could revive the population of small urban birds. Barring rock pigeon, which thrives on today's architecture and excessive human support, thereby depriving other competing species of similar habitat. The sparrow chicks need high-protein diet of insects to grow fast and be able to fly off in just 14 days after coming out of the eggs. The concrete surroundings around us in the cities cannot be immediately replaced by gardens, greenery, and pesticide-free land that supports insect life, which is the only food for chicks. It is not practical to allow nesting inside our modern, clean, glass-sealed houses with netted doors and windows. The running ceiling fan kills the bird instantly. The practical solution was desired to stabilize urban bird population and stop further damage to extremely fragile biodiversity, which connects and supports all forms of life. But biodiversity is often sacrificed in the name of development and growing economic pressure around which the modern life revolves. While growing up, ours and the previous generations did not have to worry about issues like pollution, conservation, climate change, and extinction, etc. Therefore, we still not realize the graveness we are headed for. But these issues have already become a priority of the new generation. In fact, right now, we are undergoing the planet's 6th mass extinction, and the last one was 65 million years ago. The difference in this extinction is that it is being caused by a single species on Earth, and that is us. In the present world, everything revolves around economics, and the economic system, which governs the priorities of a nation today, has evolved in a way that has resulted in the exploitation of its own citizens, as well as destroyed the ecosystem that keeps us and everything else alive. Various departments, ministries, and policies were established in the last quarter of the century to set up a tone for environment sustainable development in the 21st century. But instead, all our ecological problems have gotten worse. And this failure also means that the challenge for the new generation to deal with the environment degradation is going to be far, far greater. We must learn to think beyond and reverse the destruction process being caused due to poor government policies. Citizens' initiative and support of non-profit organizations was required to control the damage already sustained by the biodiversity. Few years back, a couple of activists started working for the conservation of urban birds, backed and supported by a great conservationist, Dr. Harshvardhan, who is also the General Secretary of Travel and Wildlife Society of India. Harshvardhanji has selflessly devoted his entire life on conservation-related activities. Of late, the need of a dedicated society involving passionate individuals to support the growing activities of the existing volunteers was felt. A non-government organization for the conservation of urban birds, mainly house sparrows, by the name of ICAN, Initiative to Conserve Animals and Nature, was born in the year 2012. ICAN members have worked in close coordination with some of the prestigious institutions and schools to spread the awareness on urban birds and develop eco-friendly nest boxes and bird feeders. Our mission is to spread the awareness on conservation of biodiversity so the citizens are not only aware but also take responsibility to make this world a better and cleaner place to coexist with other species. Our innovative bird nest boxes and feeders can be nailed on the balcony on outside of the house without disturbing the interiors. The birds quickly adapt to our uniquely designed nest boxes and start making the nest in the month of February. The first eggs of the season are laid in March, which take about 9 to 16 days to hatch, depending on the heat. The hotter the days, quicker will the eggs hatch. The chicks take 14 days to grow and come out of the nest box to fledge only for a day before being fully independent. Under ideal conditions, the birds breed up to 4 to 5 times in a single breeding season, giving about 10 to 12 new birds to our environment every year. Bird feeder is another simple gadget that can reduce immense wastage of grains. Most of us have a habit of sprinkling grains for the birds in public places, out of which more than 95% goes waste. This way of feeding supports the growing population of single species, that is rock pigeon, who generally overfeeds on scattered grains, fall sick and spread diseases as well. The bird feeders effectively eliminates all these problems and invites various urban bird species. The single fill of feed can last for a week, thereby cutting down the everyday grain wastage of lakhs of rupees.
All living things are connected within the great ecosystem that is the Earth. Preserving these connections so that we are never faced with the last one of any kind. This is the key to conserving biodiversity. In order to give this gift of Mother Nature to generations to come,
ICAN Society
is making every effort to protect biodiversity as it strives to be a green innovation company with a global perspective.